Coming up, are your healthy habits actually sabotaging your goals? Why you think what you think is healthy may not actually be so. We are going to clear up some myths. We've got Dr. Thompson in. She's in our open door green room waiting to sit down and talk about your good intentions and how to make sure they're not problematic after the break. Let's try to keep you healthy, even if the air quality isn't helping. It seems like we're on a never-ending quest to improve our health, right? But could your best intentions actually be problematic? August is National Wellness Month, so to help us guide our way through, we're checking in with the doctor, Dr. Sharon Thompson of Central Phoenix Obstetrics and Gynecology, joining us to talk about some of the ways that we might think, we're sticking to a program or making good choices, but they could have a side effect we're not thinking about.
And this is one of the areas where the internet is not helping us because there's so much information out there and not all of it is good quality.
So you're saying me Googling WebMD is not the same as you graduating from medical school?
You're cracking me up, Olivia.
Okay, it's true. It's not the same thing. So let's listen to the real doctor.
That's a good one. So some of the health information that's on the internet can really get you in trouble.
Yeah.
And people feel like they're doing the right thing. And lots of times we judge what's right by how restrictive it is.
Okay.
But actually that is a counterintuitive, because when we feel restricted, we want to break out of those restrictions, right? So a lot of times people talk about, oh, I'm looking forward to my cheat day, because they were feeling so restricted that they're looking forward to the day where they can just splurge and do everything. And then they can wind up eating more calories than they restricted during the week.
Right.
So the idea of a cheat day is actually not good for you, because you can wind up, doing more damage than you did good the rest of the days. And then there are other rules, like, some people will restrict so many food ingredients, right? You can only eat one ingredient. And then you wind up missing nutrients that you need. So you really want to stay away from these very restrictive rules. Sometimes people wind up eating so many processed foods, right? Because they're trying to cut calories, low fat. You wind up not reading your labels, and you wind up with so much sugar, so much salt.
Well, yeah, so those cutting corners, and you're saying, okay, it's a healthy granola bar, it says it's low fat, or it's sugar-free, or whatever, and I've got it prepackaged, that way I won't go through the drive-through, but you're still opening up the package of processed foods.
Exactly. And a good rule is, if you can't recognize the ingredient or pronounce it, you might want to put that back. Put that back. That's a good idea. And you mentioned something that gets a lot of people in trouble, the label healthy.
Yes.
So a lot of people will say, oh, it's healthy, but it's in a package, it's in a box, it's in a can, or it's full of fat, it's full of sugar, it's full of salt. So you really have to read those ingredients, and it might be a good idea for all of us to check out myplate.gov just to get some good guidelines on what actually is healthy. When we go to the grocery store, we watch TV, someone's trying to sell us something. And they're going to make it as glitzy and as glamorous as they need to so that we buy it. And it may not necessarily be in our best interest. So you really want to get a little bit of information so that that can guide you.
Well, and as people have gotten so strict about, say, cutting their carbs, for example, you're oftentimes maybe not replacing some of those with what would bring you the nutrients of a whole grain that you may need.
Absolutely. And so a good rule of thumb is to eat whole foods. So eat a carrot, broccoli, snap peas, the whole grains, and not something that is in a can or a box or processed for you, prepared for you, because then you're getting the nutrients. Also, eating a variety is a good idea. We talk about the rainbow of vegetables. You want all the colors, because that's a good variety and you're getting those nutrients that you need.
Do you think that there's anything to people overdoing it in terms of exercise or pushing themselves too hard as they're trying to stick with some goals?
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a cliche, but moderation is good, right? So if you find yourself exercising 2 hours a day every day, you may be doing some damage to your joints, to your metabolism. For women especially, we can see changes in some of their female hormones. I don't like that term. But if they exercise too much, and it can really affect how their bodies function. So if you find yourself doing something to such an extreme, either restricting calories or exercising, then you're out of balance. You want to be sort of in the middle. moderation. It's a cliche, but it's a good word.
It's not something that you should be thinking about all the time,
Absolutely
right?
not.
That's probably a key that
guilt.
something's wrong.
Like, if you
The
feel
guilt.
guilty, something's not right. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite words.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
no.
always feeling guilty about something.
No, let the guilt go. Life is short. Enjoy it.
It's not good
in
for
moderation.
you. Yeah, and that it's very important regarding the food too, because I think a lot of times people feel guilty about what they eat, and then it's like, okay, well, just forget it. I already messed up. So what's the point of even trying?
Exactly, attaching labels of good or bad.
Okay.
You know, I learned this term, one leadership group, they use this term, at the mercy.
Okay.
Your feelings about yourself should not have to do with whether you had the donut or didn't have the donut.
Okay.
Right? You should feel good about yourself regardless. A donut is a donut.
It is nice to check in with the doctor. Dr. Thompson, thank you so much. Central Phoenix Obstetrics and Gynecology, if you are looking for her and want some sound advice and a little check-in.